Welcome to Looks Good on Paper, the podcast that's flipping the script on traditional hiring. We're your hosts, I'm Woody.
And I'm Anita.
And in each episode, we dive into why CVs and the so-called perfect candidate can be misleading. We'll be speaking with industry experts to uncover how skills, potential, and real-world experience should be the focus when making hiring decisions. We're here to challenge the norm and rewrite the rules of hiring. So let's get started.
We're so excited to be here again today. Thank you for all that have tuned in so far to all of our podcast episodes. Today we have Christine Spagnuolo. I'm so excited to have her here. I think she's such an interesting person with a very diverse background. But also what I love is how she describes herself. And this is from her LinkedIn. But I love that she says that her true passion and calling is connection. And so she's a recruitment consultant, a headhunter. She's a coach. She's a community builder. She's a nomad. What doesn't she do? But I'm just so happy that she's here today. I'm going to hand it over to Christine to maybe give a better intro about herself.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And thank you for that lovely intro. And thank you so much for having me. I'm super, super excited to be a part of this episode. So in terms of connection has always been super important to me, whether it's like connection to self, community, or connecting others with each other. And I think that in itself just was a natural progression into headhunting and coaching.
Awesome. Well, you know the name of the game, being in the hot seat here today. We have 3 questions for you, and we're going to chat about all things hiring, recruitment. And I'm interested in hearing your perspective since you've been in the game for so long as a headhunter and a recruiter. And I know you have probably so many tales. So why don't we jump in? The first question we have for you is, what's the biggest hiring mistake companies keep making, even though it's clearly not working?
That I would have to say posting ads. It is something that companies continue to do. I understand that they feel, it's a necessary, but really I think it's a very, very outdated and broken system. Posting and praying is not going to get you what you want. It's actually just going to create fatigue and frustration and really waste time.
That's a super controversial view, I think.
Definitely.
Where does that come from? So tell us, what's been your experience of people posting ads and not getting the people that they want?
Right. I think it just comes from my own experience throughout my career. So I've been doing this for 18 years now. And when I first, started an agency, we would post ads. And you soon realize how much time is wasted on hoping that the right person comes in versus just going out directly and getting them. So I started my career doing both, and then soon realized that posting ads is a big waste of time for me myself. So I haven't actually posted one in over 10 years. What ends up, so I haven't posted an ad in 10 years. And then I have clients who will come to me and I'm like, how is the search going? And they'll say, well, we've posted this ad. It's been running for X amount of weeks or X amount of months, and we're just not getting what we want. And the thing is when everyone's looking for a superstar, superstars are typically not applying. Description/job ads are usually very generic. And there's so much behind the scenes as to what they're actually looking for. And I feel like a lot of companies are way too generic in how they position what they're looking for. And even when they do communicate that, you still have a lot of candidates who will apply regardless. So then you have this tons of resumes that are not even applicable because someone's not reading it, or you're not catching the right audience.
It's true. So I just think it goes back to that whole idea where also you have to know what you're hiring for. You have to know as an employer what you're looking for to build that good job description. One of the things that we have done for the CV free movement campaign that we're running, as well as give a goal setting framework to understand, we're encouraging a move to more like skills-based hiring. But
Mhm.
through that process, I was just thinking, I'm like, even me, when I was a hiring manager, could have used this type of thought process because it would help me know who I want to hire,
Yeah.
dig in deep to what I actually need, and not just do like a generic job
Mhm.
posting or an ad. And then I think now I know people are using AI, ChatGPT, just to
Oh,
make a job description
exactly.
now.
Yeah, it's really sad. And on the flip side, there's candidates who are experiencing such fatigue that they're using AI to apply. So now you have AI generated job descriptions, questions, and filters that are now being responded to with AI. So it's like, what are we really getting here? Nothing. Like,
It's a hot
Nobody
take.
even.
yo,
This is
I'm
a
just
hot
like,
take. Stop advertising your roles, and you won't
hire a
have to use a
headhunter.
CV ever again.
True.
Um,
I like this
Yeah,
take. I like it.
it makes
yeah,
sense.
totally.
It's solid thinking. I really believe it. As like it's over
Yeah.
inundated. I feel like also, you boost the post, you're paying money, and you get too many people coming in, and then your already under-resourced team has to sort through how many poor
Yeah,
candidates. It makes sense, and I'm
yeah,
kind of on board.
I think from like in my world, the just to like be super clear,
yeah,
because I don't think you could not post a job for a grad role,
right.
right?
Fair.
Or for an intern. Like nobody's going
Fair.
out and headhunting out of a college
But
or a
you
university.
could, because
You
there
could, but
are like
it
campus
would.
recruiters.
There are campus recruiters and there are campus like meet and greets and all of that kind of stuff. But there's still loads and loads and loads of candidates that come to those. So you still end
Right.
up with this a large
Yeah.
funnel of people. And I
Yeah.
guess that's, what you're talking about is hunting in the passive market for people that are performing in their roles, not looking to move, right?
Right.
And they are, like the top performing salesperson, they're going to leave their manager or they're not performing.
Right.
It's kind of like that, right? So
For
if
sure.
you're looking for a super high performing salesperson, you're probably going to have to go out there and pick them out of the
Absolutely.
business.
And
Yeah.
show them why they should join your team. And question number 2. So, Christine, what's a hidden bias that companies unknowingly have, even when they think they're progressive in their hiring?
Good question. 2 things come up for me right away. And that is that going back to the job ads is they think that if they have, I guess, qualifying questions or asking you to kind of speak more about yourself or to your experience, you're really just asking someone to upload their resume and then speak to what is on their resume. And going back to what we were just speaking about, a lot of candidates who are experiencing this fatigue are now using AI to answer those questions, which are generated based on what's on their resume. So it's kind of just like a duplicate thing, and they think that they're like filtering when I think it's just causing like a lot of exhaustion, and candidates are not like committed to really selling themselves anymore.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like also, like, really to your point about the fatigue, like they're just,
Yeah.
how many are they applying to? Do they have to show up differently in every single one of them? Let's just mass do this. If this is a stipulation of my application, I'm just going
Yeah.
to spray and pray, right?
Exactly. And I think another thing is sometimes companies will think, well, if I bring the recruitment internal and I create recruitment teams internally, that will give them an advantage. And I don't want to discount or disqualify all internal recruiters, but I'd say that 90% of them are not actually doing what an agency headhunter would do. And they're usually the ones posting and then going through applicants versus going out and actually headhunting or recruiting top talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen this like time and time again, and I know it doesn't work because it's these companies that have these internal recruiters who will then reach out to me and say like, my team can't handle this, can you help me? When really, if they have the internal, it's because they don't want to pay me. And then they end up paying 2 people.
Ooh.
Before we go into the next question,
Yeah.
what's the answer to that? Other than call
Oh.
me. I'm Christine. I can help you
Yeah.
do the headhunting. Other than that, like, what are the other? If you were an internal recruiter and you were like, right, I need to get through this so I can do that, what would you be suggesting they do?
So if I were to build my own internal team, I would make it that we don't post job ads, that we only directly headhunt, because it's posting job ads that it's a broken system. It's a big time waster. And I would only want people on my team that will actually headhunt,
Got
not
it.
wait, right, for them to come through. Like that's how,
Yeah.
and I would only hire people who had worked for an agency at some point in their career, because then they actually understand what it is to go out and recruit, to like have the urgency and the sort of like the competitiveness, and kind of like really want to service, their stakeholders and hiring managers.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who just needs a 9-to-5 job, because talent acquisition, recruitment, headhunting, whatever you want to call it, it's not a 9-to-5 role. It's 24/7. And like when the right people need to talk, you need to be available. It's not a 9-to-5 gig at all.
The only thing I would like challenge on that is I don't think you need agency experience. What you need is what you just described. Somebody that is willing to work 24/7. Like it could be, they could be like a salesperson, right? That has been doing field marketing and driving up and down the whole of North America.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they've got that and then the people side of things,
Yes.
like
Well,
that's what
meaning,
we're looking for.
Yeah.
Really, isn't
So
it?
when I say agency, meaning like being on the other side where they're actually servicing a client. Because when you're servicing a client, like you understand like what it is to do a great job where they're going to use someone else.
Yeah. And you don't get paid. Like you don't fill the role. You don't get paid.
Exactly.
I've always wondered why internal recruiters don't get commission.
Yeah.
Like it does, but it does baffle me a bit.
Right. Why?
I think that's actually, that would be a great internal strategy for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've had so many clients throughout the years ask me like, hey, would you want to come work for us? And really it's just like, no, because I would get a fraction of what I make.
Exactly.
Like if you're not going to incentivize it, like there really is no point.
So you take down the job posting, you don't put them out there, and then your CEO or your leader says, we're not getting the right candidates. Even the sourcing isn't bringing the right people. What happens then?
I mean, I think as someone who's only ever had to source, like there is no, it's not working. Like you got to make it work. You got to find the person. I mean, obviously there can be things where positions and requirements can evolve, salaries can change, non-negotiables can change. So depending on how the search goes, there can be like changes, but it really is like having people on your team who are super tenacious, super hungry, and they just get it done.
Yeah.
If you don't fill it, someone else will. So
totally.
And if you're incentivizing it with a commission, even more, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. Our third question, second last, we'll have a wild card after this one.
Okay.
What's the most surprising hire you've ever made, Christine? And how did their success defy what looked good on paper, or vice versa?
Oh, I think the most surprising hire, this is kind of like two parts, because this is always just like a funny one to me. Earlier on in my career, I'd say about like maybe like 12 years ago, I was working with a construction company and I had a health and safety manager position. And I had placed this one individual who is absolutely fantastic. And throughout the process, I found out that he had a twin brother who had the same experience as him. And I had sent his resume over too. And my client was like, we'll take him. Like, if he wants a job, we'll take him too. I'm like, wait, like, you're not going to interview him? He's like, if the brothers want to work together, we'll hire both. And I was like, whoa. And I remember the twins just being like, this is wild. And I was like, yeah, your brother just got you a job.
Yeah, just by being
essentially.
good.
By being
you'll
like
have a go
your
at your
identical
job.
twin. So they were both hired, which was kind of crazy. I think like also like aside from that is when you're in the industry long enough, you kind of see like your candidates kind of grow and move up, you know, throughout companies. And I think one of the coolest things is my first placement ever was in a very like entry-level supply chain role with Ferrero Rocher. That was 18 years ago, and she's still there to this day.
No way.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
my first placement ever, yeah, she is still there to this day, which I think is really cool. She's a department head now. We still keep in touch, and I think her story is pretty awesome. And I'm always just like super proud that that was my first placement ever.
That was great. Thank you for sharing. I mean, I love the twin one. I also love how it's like,
Yeah.
medically, they'll just be the same either way. So if I get them both in, they're going to be the same.
I was like, this is crazy. And I was like, okay, I mean, I'm not going to say no. Yeah.
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 I love it. All right. And for our final question, thank you so much for being here, but we're going to throw this last one at you. How
All
do you
right.
feel about the CV? And do you wish that we could get rid of it?
I don't think, I mean, I really think CVs are dying. They're not necessary. I understand its purpose, but I really don't think in this day and age that that's what gets someone a job. I think relationships are is what gets people jobs. And that relationship can be so many different things. It could be a relationship with someone within the organization. It could be a relationship with a headhunter. But usually like that referral or someone vouching for someone is going to be a lot or hold a lot more value than like a piece of paper with information on it, especially with AI generated anything. CVs I see as like, okay, if we need to file something away, but using the CV to get a job, I don't think is super necessary. Even I'd say in the last 5 to 10 years, especially working in the startup space, a lot of the founders and CEOs that I work with will hire people without a CV. So
Yeah.
I could just send a LinkedIn and say, hey, yo, I'm talking to this person's incredible, and they're meeting them. I don't have to submit
Yeah.
a CV, have them go through it. It's just they're meeting these people based on me, you know, creating that introduction and saying like, this is why I love this person. They're not reading a CV.
Yeah.
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 So I don't think that a CV is necessary. I think it's definitely like dying, but I could see how it's like, okay, utilized for like, we need to create a file.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like a
In
calling
your
card.
world, Christine, I'm interested. Do you think that the CV plays less of a part because the people that you're sending those profiles to trust your judgment?
Absolutely. Because even if a CV is in fire, I'll say like, trust me, you need to meet this person. And
And they will.
my clients will. And my clients are not hiring anyone based on a CV. They're hiring based on the fact that like, A, like I love them and I think they're an excellent cultural fit. And like B, you know, I've vetted their experience and I think they have what they're looking for, but they're not opening up a resume and then saying, okay, we'll meet this person. They're just trusting that like I've already gone through the initial screen and they'll meet them.
Yeah. And I think that is, again, like another thing an internal recruiter needs to learn from is how do you get to a point with your hiring managers so that they're like, yeah, no, I 100% trust your judgment. Like, I'll see these 3 people. That makes total sense.
Totally. Personal brands are huge. And I think that's the best way to have visibility.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Christine.
Thank you.
Really insightful thoughts. I think we'll dub this our hot take episode. I'm sure so many people are going to find your wisdom and your experience so helpful. And yeah, thank you again for being an awesome guest.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christine.
So thanks for tuning in to Looks Good on Paper. We hope today's conversation helps you rethink what really matters when it comes to hiring. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your network, and stay tuned for more insightful discussions that are shaking up the entire hiring process. Catch us next time as we continue to challenge the status quo. Until then, remember, it's not what looks good on paper, it's what they can do.